Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Elimination Chamber 2025 predictions. I say yours because I've given you the ability to submit whatever predictions that you might have about Elimination Chamber 2025 over on X. Whether that's who wins each chamber, who eliminates who, what rivalries get created at WrestleMania, returns, heel turns, everything. So I've grabbed a bunch of your predictions and I'm going to review a bunch of them and give you my honest opinion on them. By the way, I do these every once in a while over on X, so make sure that you're following me over there. The link will be in the description. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm incredibly confident that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if you're looking for more than just daily wrestling content, consider coming over to the Patreon, patreon.com/SadiZap. Over there, we also upload daily content like the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the podcast early, and a whole host of extra watch-alongs that we can never post here because we use footage over there and we can't use footage here on YouTube because it just gets blocked. So consider it. Patreon.com/SadiZap. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's start the video. The Rock returns to the Rogers Center for the first time since WrestleMania 18. So I saw a ton of people submitting this. A lot of people are expecting The Rock to come back at Elimination Chamber to maybe set something up going into WrestleMania 41. I just personally don't think that that's going to happen. I personally believe that if we were going to get something with The Rock, a match, a program, whatever it might be, that we would already at least have an idea as to what that would be. And let's face it, whatever that thing might be, the only thing that we really want right now is The Rock versus Roman Reigns if it is something that involves The Rock. And when I look at what Roman Reigns is doing, he seems a little bit too preoccupied with whatever is going on with Seth Rollins, which will likely be his WrestleMania opponent. Which that means it doesn't really leave one, a whole lot of time, or two, a whole lot of opponents available for The Rock. But maybe he does come back to just be a promotional piece for the show. The Rogers Center, formerly known as the Sky Dome, is a major venue for a moment in The Rock's career, which was Icon versus Icon against Hollywood Hulk Hogan. That was the building where the people turned on the people's champion and created the Hollywood heel Rock from 2003. And the current heel Rock that we have is just an extension of that. So the final boss character kind of was born in the Sky Dome, now known as the Rogers Center. So maybe that could be a cool little coming of age tale, coming back to the place that created the evil version of The Rock that we know today. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say that this doesn't happen. Roman cost Seth the match, leading to a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. So we're all expecting this, right? I feel like this is written in the wall right now. I feel like if you're reading the tea leaves, this is the most likely thing that's going to happen in this chamber. We're likely going to have a situation where Roman Reigns, like Shawn Michaels, sneaks in from under the chamber to take out Seth Rollins to allow, say, Logan Paul or CM Punk to pin him and eliminate him, thus setting up Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. The thing is that there's still a bit more of a cloud above Seth Rollins than just Roman Reigns. There's also CM Punk. There's a lot of rumors that it's going to be CM Punk versus Roman versus Seth Rollins. If that's the case, do we have Roman Reigns sneak in and take out both of them? Me personally, if they're going to do something with Roman sneaking into the chamber to take out somebody, I hope it's just Seth Rollins, because I would personally want it to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns one-on-one match, a match that is a dream match at WrestleMania because we've never gotten it at that venue. Adding CM Punk, I don't feel like it's necessary when I think you can use CM Punk in other matches and in other feuds to elevate the entire show as well. But do I expect Roman here? Yeah, I really do. Logan Paul costs John Cena the chamber and Punk wins. I want to say that this isn't on the table, but this is very much on the table. When I look at Logan Paul's history at the Elimination Chamber, it involves screwing over some legend of the business to set up a big match with them. He did it at WrestleMania 39 to set up the match against Seth Rollins, did it going into WrestleMania 40 to set up a match that included Randy frickin' Orton. So it just sort of seems like clockwork that Logan Paul is going to screw a big major name to set up a match with them. And if I'm being honest with you, out of all of the big names that are in there, Cena is like the most Logan Paul friendly opponent that I could actually see. I just don't see a world where CM Punk wants to work Logan Paul, if I'm being honest with you. And frankly, I don't think that there's a better way to get the world to hate Logan Paul even more than they already do. Apparently, he's banned from the entirety of the country of Egypt than by having him screw over John Cena and preventing him from getting into a main event in his final WrestleMania to go for 17. It sounds like it's something that I want. Trust me, this is not what I want. Good God, I want John Cena and Logan Logan Paul to stay away from each other at WrestleMania. I don't mind it at any other venue, just not at Cena's last WrestleMania, but this is very much on the table. I still feel like it's more likely that Cena wins the Chamber and goes to have a match against Cody Rhodes than a match against Logan Paul. But like I said, the historical evidence tells us that Logan Paul is going to fuck some legend over and set up a match with them. And unfortunately, the biggest legend in that match is John Cena. The final two will be John Cena and Logan Paul. So let's start this off from where I already kind of left off, which is what better way to get everyone to hate Logan Paul than to have Logan Paul be the one that prevents Cena from getting to WrestleMania. Well, what better way to get the entire world rowdy behind Cena and incredibly against Logan Paul than by having these be the final two? Here's the thing, I both like and I dislike this. I dislike this because if this is the final two, it's telegraphed. Cena's winning. There's no way that they're gonna run Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania. I don't think so. If this is the final two, however, it does get everyone behind John Cena, and everybody will want John Cena to win, as opposed to if it's John Cena and CM Punk. I could see a world where the crowd's kind of divided. I could see this is potentially in the stars, but I don't want this to be the final two. I would rather it be two guys that make it really unpredictable as to who's going to win, to create as much drama within that match. Jade Cargill returns and reveals that it wasn't Liv and Raquel that took her out of action, hopefully setting up a very desired Bianca versus Jade WrestleMania match. Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, like, that's to me a giant headliner of a match, and I think that's the match that many of us are expecting and the match that many of us want for Bianca Belair, if not Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I'm just really curious as to how this would play out. Would it be Jade Cargill breaking into the Chamber and taking out Bianca, or taking out Naomi, or maybe takes out both of them and gets both of them eliminated so that you don't still know who was the person that ultimately attacked Jade Cargill? Like, Naomi has to be in the equation in some way, shape, or form. I'm not bought in at all at the idea that it's Bianca Belair. But Bianca Belair, in my eyes, is a forever babyface. And that's not me saying that she can't be a heel. She was a good heel over on NXT. I just think that she's just too damn good of a marketing asset for the WWE. And usually those individuals are forever babyfaces. That's just usually how it goes. And I think Bianca Belair has reached that level. I will say it will feel like we're starting to lose time on this Jade Cargill storyline if we don't do something at Elimination Chamber. It already felt like we were running out of time because they had ignored this storyline for the better part of like a month and a bit, only to finally bring it back on the most recent episode of Friday Night SmackDown. We got to get rolling with the story. Nobody believes it's Liv and Raquel. That's the biggest red herring ever, but we gotta make some big steps forward so that we can get to the point where it makes sense to do Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. WWE on Netflix is the best thing ever. I get Raw, NXT, SmackDown, every single WWE premium live event, and a giant catalog of old WWE shows with my Netflix subscription. Unfortunately, that is not the case for all of you and many people around the world. Many of you have to watch these shows on traditional cable where you get peppered with lame commercials. And while you're having to watch commercials, I, as a Netflix subscriber, get to watch more of the WWE shows that I love. So let's fix that today with today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. With Surfshark, you can easily change your location to, say, the Great White North of Canada, or literally like any other country. And with that, you'll be able to get Netflix programming from that region, which, by the way, includes all of your favorite WWE shows without any commercials. Plus, while you're there, you can catch some of the other great shows that are exclusive to international Netflix. And if you aren't sold, you can also just try Surfshark risk-free because of their 30-day money-back guarantee policy. But it gets even better because if you visit surfshark.com/SantiYT, you're gonna get 4 months for free on a 2-year plan. By the way, Netflix has WWE programming for the next 5 years in international markets, so a 2-year plan is something that you're gonna get full use out of. Again, that's surfshark.com/SantiYT to get 4 months for free on a 2-year plan. Thank you once again to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get you back to talking about wrestling. Damian Priest is going to win, and it will be incredible. Oh, it will be incredible. It will be incredible to see the entire internet implode at Damian Priest winning. Here's the thing, I feel like Damian doesn't really have a chance of winning this. I just don't. I feel like in terms of likelihood, it's Cena and Punk at the top, Drew McIntyre at a distant third, and everyone else just has basically no chance of actually winning this. It's actually kind of the reason why I wish they hadn't announced Jey Uso was going after Gunther so early, because if Gunther was still a possibility as a final prize, then I feel like everyone would have been on equal playing field as a potential winner. But now that Cody Rhodes is the big prize and the night 2 main event is the big prize, hey, look, no disrespect to Damian Priest. I love Damian Priest. I just don't think that he is night 2 closing against Cody Rhodes kind of guy. They just haven't done a good enough job to build Damian Priest, aside from the fact that he is like uber protected. I would like to see more from a character standpoint, and I feel like him winning the chamber here would just try and bypass all of that and just use wins and accolades as the reason why we should shoehorn him into the main event of WrestleMania. I don't want to see that. I'd like to see a little bit more substance. That's not to say I don't think that we're going to eventually get Damian versus Cody Rhodes. I do think that they've teased it, and the fact that they're both like as equally protected as each other, at some point these guys have to butt heads. I just don't think it's going to be a WrestleMania off the back of Damian Priest winning the Elimination Chamber. But like I said, it'd be fucking hilarious to see the internet implode if Damian won. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to have Randy Orton return, either after the unsanctioned match or during it, to help Sami win and set up Kevin Owens versus Randy at WrestleMania. Me personally, I kind of like the idea of just having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go at it with no interference at all whatsoever, and then have Randy Orton come out after the match to completely punt the head off of Kevin Owens. I just want to see no interference because I want to see these guys kill each other, because in my opinion, this is a WrestleMania match not happening at WrestleMania, and the only reason it's not happening at WrestleMania, it's because it's in the Sky Dome in Toronto, one of the most famous sporting buildings in the entire country, with 2 of the most famous wrestlers that the country of Canada has created. So for all intents and purposes, for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, this may as well be WrestleMania, which is why I'd like to see a clear-cut definitive winner, but I still want to see Randy Orton, because Randy Orton's like a top 5 favorite of mine. I'd like to see him after the match as opposed to interfere in the match to help anybody win. I feel like Penta will somehow make it on the card. Maybe Penta versus Ludwig versus Pete? I don't think so. I don't think that there's room for Penta or a match that doesn't have a title on the line, or frankly, a match that doesn't particularly even have the greatest story going on. Penta versus Pete Dunne versus Ludwig Kaiser. I don't know where that's going. I don't even really understand that dynamic, that triangle of theirs that's going on. I love Penta. I truly do. I think he's amazing. And I like Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser, but this story that they got going on here should not be sniffing a PLE yet, in my opinion. Double pin to end the chamber between Punk and Cena. Okay, that would be kind of epic, but it would also be a pretty shitty way to end the show. If we're gonna go down this route, then I wouldn't mind the idea of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being the ones to main event the show, because I think they very well could. The double pin definitely is the easiest way to just get us to the triple threat of CM Punk versus John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, a match that I think a lot of people would be okay with. Me personally, if you're going to add Punk to a triple threat, I'd rather it be that one than to get involved with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. But I feel like there's more satisfying ways to get to this triple threat than just having this match basically end in a no contest with both of them pinning each other. Kofi Kingston attacks someone to get a spot in the Elimination Chamber. I mean, I like the callback. I don't see it happening, especially where Kofi Kingston is these days in the tag team division, feuding against Hat Guy and No Hat Guy from the LWO. Liv Morgan wins. I saw a lot of people submitting this and submitting it as a joke, as if it was, haha, this likely won't happen. Brothers, I think this is very likely to happen. I would say that she's the favorite to win this whole thing. The other favorite I would say is probably somebody like Roxanne Perez, but Roxanne Perez is such an outside choice that I feel like she's a distant second here in terms of picking a betting favorite. I know that nobody wants to see Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley again, but we do have the extra outlier that is Io Sky that could maybe turn this into a triple threat going into WrestleMania to make this a little bit more intriguing, so that we aren't just going back to the well of Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. But when I look at where things are laid out, if not Bianca Belair, who might be busy with Jade Cargill, I feel like the favorite here is Liv Morgan. Karrion Kross comes out during the Sami/Kevin match, leading to Kevin picking up the victory and setting up Sami versus Kross at Mania. Okay, so if I don't want to see Randy Orton getting involved in the match, I sure as shit do not want to see Karrion Kross getting involved in the match. As I've already stated, I'd rather this match just be pure chaos. I'd rather this be unadulterated, not touched by anybody. I do believe that we're setting up towards a highway that leads us towards Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn, but I don't think that we necessarily need Karrion Kross getting involved here in order to get us to that destination, a destination where the wheels are already moving on Monday Night Raw as it is. So no, I don't see this happening, and for the love of God, I just don't want it to happen. I don't think Cena is going to win the Chamber or win 17 at WrestleMania. I am convinced that he needs to go through the struggle and to establish the importance of the first night 2 of SummerSlam. He's going to win 17 there, probably against CM Punk, who is probably going to win the Chamber and WrestleMania. Okay, so prediction here is Punk wins the Chamber, Punk goes on to WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes and wins the title, carries it into SummerSlam where John Cena finally gets a chance at the title, and that's where John Cena wins it. Is that possible? Is that likely? Yeah, I very much think that is a very likely outcome that we could get to. I do think it's smart to use John Cena as somebody that can help solidify the importance of a 2-night SummerSlam, because the first night of SummerSlam is going to have a little bit of an uphill battle in terms of feeling as important as night 2. That's what happened with WrestleMania. But if you are going to bookend the first night of SummerSlam with John Cena winning the 17, then shit, like that's about as big as a stamp of approval that WWE could give your show. This is part of the reason why I'm digging the uncertainty about John Cena's 17, because it is a matter of when, right? We all know that John Cena is going to win the 17. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you could honestly fantasy book this in so many different ways. At WrestleMania, at SummerSlam, you could friggin' fantasy book this on the last match that he has of his entire career if you want to have him vacated. There's so many different things that you could do to either give us instant satisfaction by having him win at WrestleMania in the biggest moment, or you can make us struggle and give us delayed satisfaction at SummerSlam, or you could give us a fucking heart attack and have him win it at the end in his last match of his career. Lots of neat things that you can do with Cena here. Drew McIntyre will win again and set up one of the best, if not the best, feuds of the year between him and Cody Rhodes. So I already mentioned this in terms of tier ranking favorites. I think it's like Punk Cena tied for number 1, and then Drew McIntyre is a distant third, the third most likely to win this Elimination Chamber. It'd be kind of cool to see him go back to back in chambers and start maybe creating a moniker of Mr. Elimination Chamber. But I just don't see it happening this year. That doesn't take away from the fact that you said here that Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre could be Cody Rhodes' best feud and the best feud of the entire year. It absolutely has the star power and the capability to be the best feud of the year, especially what we just saw with Cody and Kevin Owens, and of course CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Take those two guys, McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, and I think that you're going to make some magic. So I want to see it at some point, and I feel like we're not that far away from that happening in terms of degrees of separation, considering they're on the same show and they're both main eventers. Could it happen at Mania? I think so, but there's just so many other things that, in my opinion, take priority over having Drew McIntyre in the Night 2 main event. Alexa is going to get the Wyatt Six involved in the Women's Elimination Chamber to help her win. See, I don't see this. I haven't seen the WWE give the Wyatt Six any sort of vote of confidence to make them appear at any PLE. I don't think that they're going to do it at Elimination Chamber either. I could very much see a world where this thing plays out on SmackDown or like a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. But I do foresee us going towards the direction of Alexa Bliss having a confrontation with the Wyatt Six, maybe joining them, maybe trying to fight them off, whatever it might be. But I don't think it happens at Chamber, and I don't think that Alexa Bliss is the one that's going to win the Chamber. One of the 6 Chamber participants gets, quote, injured backstage, and Randy Orton comes out as a surprise replacement. He ends up winning the whole thing and sets up the long-awaited dream match against Cody at WrestleMania. I guess the big question is who does he replace here? I don't think it'd be Logan Paul as much as everybody would want it to be Logan Paul. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it would most likely be somebody like a Damian Priest, or unfortunately maybe a Drew McIntyre. I don't see this happening because there's still just so much unfinished business for Randy Orton elsewhere that will likely lead him to a WrestleMania bout in a different direction against Kevin Owens. So although I like where your Stargaze dies are at in terms of having Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania, interestingly enough, I see this more as the Night 2 main event of SummerSlam. That's not to say that it's not worthy of WrestleMania. It's just that everybody else seems to be too busy to make this happen at WrestleMania. We get a swerve, and Roxanne Perez walks out of the Elimination Chamber to face Io Sky and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I know it feels too soon, but just putting her into the match would be huge for her. I still think that we're going down the path of Roxanne Perez versus Bayley. I think that Roxanne Perez has a WrestleMania program and it doesn't have to go through winning the Elimination Chamber. But what I do want to see is I want to see a great performance from Roxanne Perez. I want Roxanne Perez to get all the best damn spots so that she can have a coming out party, kind of like Tiffany Stratton did at last year's Elimination Chamber. If Roxanne Perez were to win this, I'm not going to be mad. I'm on board. Give it to me. I just don't realistically see them doing it. But then again, I didn't realistically see them having her beat the last person to get eliminated by Charlotte Flair and break the whole freaking record in terms of Iron Women of all Iron Women's at the Royal Rumble. Something will happen between Drew and Damian in the chamber that will set up the proposed match at WrestleMania that we've heard rumors about. Yeah, for those that don't know, there's been a lot of rumors about Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, rumors that have a lot of people upset, not necessarily because they dislike Damian Priest, but because they feel like Drew McIntyre has had just such a great past 12 months that unfortunately a match against Damian Priest would kind of feel like a little bit of a downgrade. And to a degree, I kind of agree, because Drew McIntyre has been one of the best things that WWE has had in the last 12 months, in my opinion. Now, this I could unfortunately see happening, but apparently there are now the reverse rumors that people at WWE understand that there's backlash towards Drew McIntyre's initial plans and that they might be changing them. Who the hell knows? This is why it's honestly just better to not have your nose in the dirt sheets, because then you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. Tiffany and Trish versus Nia and Candice will mark Tiffany's full face turn. I think we're already pretty much there, but I do believe that this is going to be cementing it. And if anything, I could see Charlotte Flair at the end of this coming out to attack both Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton to really cement Charlotte as the heel in this and Tiffany Stratton as the good person in this. I'll be honest, by the way, I would have preferred for this to have been Trish Stratus versus Tiffany Stratton. I feel like that would have been so much more fun, but hey, whatever. I'll take this tag match, a tag match that I just don't see a world where Tiffy and Trishy Time don't win. These two will kill each other in the main event, and then maybe the brutally maniac one then tries to pile drive the masked one, and right when he's about to hit one, he'll be hit with an RKO out of nowhere, followed by a punt in his head as Toronto erupts in cheers. Okay, lots to dissect there, lots of fantasy booking goodness, but the thing that I want to focus on is the main event. Should this main event? I mean, it'd be kind of cool. I would like for this to main event, considering the two chamber matches aren't for a title. They are obviously for something big to see who goes to WrestleMania, but there's something special about this blood feud going on between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and the venue, the building that it's at, the city that it's at, the country that it's at, the time of the year that it's at, that I'd like to see this be the main event. Cena wins in a heel way, like a quote, accidental low blow. Ooh, that's interesting. That's fascinating. I like the idea of Cena not going full heel, but taking advantage of a situation where he traditionally in the past wouldn't have taken advantage of that situation, but knowing that his window is closing, the time's running out, he finally does take advantage of that situation, even if it's a situation that he didn't actually himself cause or intentionally try to do. I kind of vibe with this. I would love this, because it would create this question. Was that heel Cena? Was that not heel Cena? Was it fair? Was it unfair? And honestly, at the end of the day, the next best thing aside from being entertained by wrestling is if wrestling can make you ask questions and wonder things. All right, folks, thank you so much for submitting in your Elimination Chamber predictions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.